I think the number one thing that most people overlook, persistency is directly proportionate to how many leads you buy, because as long as you have enough at-bats, you don't enroll people in policies that shouldn't get policies. If you only have 5 leads and the first 4 don't answer or hang up on you during the introduction, and you get one person on the phone that's in a nursing home, like, you will do everything you can to get that person AIG, because that's the only thing you can write on. But when you have enough leads and you've invested consistently in your business, then the people you're talking to, you can be more selective and use your brain. If the person needs to post-date it for 2 months and they've canceled 2 other insurance policies, you probably shouldn't enroll that one. You can make a decision, a smart business decision on, I'm just going to call the next lead and find the person that's more suitable for this.
Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency.
Trey Honeycutt is on this call with us. So, Trey, you have you pioneered many. You've got a huge health business going. You were the master of a lock-ins last year, which was 24 different lock-ins last year.
29
lock-ins. Who's counting? 29 lock-ins last year, and it's tremendously grown his profitability, his business, etc. Helped his agents become more profitable. And I want to get to that thing we're going to talk about, right? The big thing, which everyone's excited about. I'm excited about to learn more in specificity about it. But before we get there, will you talk about, you were just on stage at convention, you got the award, top persistency agency manager. So are there a few things that you do, teach, products you sell, multiple policies, send them all flowers, send them threatening text messages? You can never cancel this, Dolores. How do you get your agents to get their clients to keep so much more business on the book when the industry average is 70%? Pathetic. And your agency's doing plus 90, plus 95%. What are you doing differently?
So I'd break it down to a few things. I think the number one thing that most people overlook is we buy enough leads. Persistency is directly proportionate to how many leads you buy, because as long as you have enough at-bats, you don't enroll people in policies that shouldn't get policies. Like, if you only have 5 leads and the first 4 don't answer or hang up on you during the introduction, and you get one person on the phone that's drunk and maybe in a nursing home, like, you will do everything you can to get that person AIG, because that's the only thing you can write on, right? Because they're in nursing home. Or Corbridge.
Yeah.
But when you have enough leads and you've invested consistently in your business, then the people you're talking to, you can be more selective and use your brain. Like, if the person needs to post-date it for 2 months because their banking account is negative and they've canceled 2 other insurance policies per your conversation, like, you probably shouldn't enroll that one. You can make a decision, a smart business decision on, like, I'm just going to call the next lead and find the person that's more suitable for this. So the number one thing is to make sure that you're buying enough leads. The number 2 thing is, don't post-date. Try to avoid post-dating at all costs. And a lot of people go, well, what do you say? Well, I haven't sold insurance in a while. Like, I would sell a policy every now and again, every other month, couple one month, might miss 1, 3 the next. But we talk about it a lot. And what we talk about a lot, what ends up happening is the top producers in the agency are constantly beating the drum of, don't post-date. Because if they don't have $54 today, they're probably not going to have $54 this time next month. So just either tell them, let's do it right now, we can't post-date it, or it's a persistency disaster when you're consistently post-dating, trying to make sure that the money's going to be in the bank. Like, you need to sell people that have the money today. The other thing that we do that I think has played a huge role is we look for ways to bundle different products. The more products you write in a household, the more likely they are to keep it long-term. Like, your persistency goes up exponentially the more policies you place in a house. So one of the ways that we do that is we focus a ton on IULs, kid policies, and annuities. Out of the top 10 annuity producers last year, 3 of them were in the Coast to Coast organization. And that was a direct correlation of asking the question to sell more policies to increase persistency. It wasn't necessarily just about them getting more commission or even putting the client in a better position. We talk so much about putting so many different products in one house because that raises up persistency that people look at annuities as a way to do that. And so that's how it works. And you mentioned, having a large health agency. A lot of those people that are leading with a health product or a cancer product or whatever it is they lead with, what they do in our organization is they use that as a reason to write more IULs and write more annuities. And so when you write those permanent insurance products like IULs, they automatically have a higher placement and persistency. Not a higher placement, but they have a higher persistency. People don't buy IULs to cancel them. They buy them to keep them. They got to keep them for a year just to see how they do. So, kind of a cheat code. And then when you're selling multiple products to one person or one household, it increases your chance to get referrals. That also will allow you to have higher persistency. And it makes you a trusted expert so that when people are thinking about canceling, something I learned from Andrew is if somebody's thinking about canceling, when I first started in the business, I had the worst persistency. I almost got kicked out of FFL because my persistency was so bad. And I would go to the office every day and I didn't believe that anybody was making any money at this. Like I thought everybody just had nothing but cancellations because I had this baggage of everybody lying to me in every sales organization I'd ever been in. And I kind of brought that here. And I think this is all smoke and mirrors. Like nobody's actually making any money. That's what I thought. Hopefully it's okay to say that. That's what I thought in the beginning.
So everyone has doubts, right? Everyone's got frustrations and doubts and fears, and we've got them too. We just push past them.
And trust issues. So I would come to the office, and Andrew would be in the office, and we used to do in-home, right? So he would run in the same area, the same county every week, or same 2 counties, twice a week, however he did it. And he would come in on a, Monday morning, and I would listen because he did everything on speakerphone because that's how Andrew did stuff. And people would call in wanting to cancel policies. And I'm like, see, all his policies must be canceling. And so what he would do is he would answer the phone calls. He wouldn't avoid them. He'd tell them, hey, I got to come out and get you to sign something. And he would go back out there. And I thought, man, this dude ain't making no money. He just drives a Nissan, because Andrew's really frugal, frugal in his personal life, but not in his business. So we get to the conference that year and Andrew gets like a persistency award from America. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. And they said it was like 90-something%. And so I went up to him after and I go, dude, I hear people calling to cancel. Like, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm answering my phone. And he goes, I bet you're afraid to answer your phone when a client calls. And I go, yeah, because I don't want them to cancel. And then he said something that totally changed my whole mindset on all of it. Is he goes, dude, if somebody wants to cancel, would you rather know sooner or later? And I was like, well, dude, yeah, I'd actually rather know sooner because the sooner you know, the more chance you have to actually turn it around. So I went from this mindset of trying to avoid, conversations about people wanting to keep their policies to like running headfirst into it and being able to like talk to people about it. But if you're avoiding the people calling you, they want to cancel and they got to leave you 3 voicemails or they got to send you a text message saying I'm canceling, or they're saying, hey, I'm calling the carrier. That's too late. You want them to call you before they call the carrier so you could talk to them. Because when you start talking to people that want to cancel their policies, you find out some incredible things.
Hey there, Grady jumping in real quick. Recently we came out with this insurance sales guide. Fantastic resource. People are loving it. Over 100 pages of insight into the business, from product knowledge to leads to full-blown scripts, presentation, referrals, and over 30 plus different objections written out word for word on how to overcome them. Just trying to help people out there in the industry. Help yourself. If it's something you're looking for some more tools and resources, click the link below and we'll send it right out to you.
Like one of the most memorable cancellation calls I ever got was Cecilia was her name. She calls me and I can't remember her husband's name, but I remember her name. And she goes, she goes, hey, we're going to have to cancel this because we were doing the math and it just really doesn't make sense. And I go, well, how so, Cecilia? And she goes, well, it's 190, whatever it was a month. And she goes, but if Bob dies, I can't afford to pay 190 something a month. Cecilia, I did a bad job. If he dies, they're going to give you like $55,000 or whatever it was. And you don't have to make payments anymore. And she's like, oh, that's amazing. What if he dies next month? Yeah, that's how it works. And she goes, oh, this is a great deal. I'm keeping this. And I thought, how many of those do I miss? Because they just missed the memo and I was afraid to answer the phone. So that's pretty much it. We talk about it a lot. We get people to buy enough leads that they don't have to beg people to buy it. And then we run headlong into the conversations and don't avoid it. And we bundle a lot of products in the home and we focus on IULs and annuities. That's pretty much it.
I love it. More policies in the home. I believe the stats are this. It's 34% industry-wide stays on one policy and goes up to 70% if you get two. So you literally double your return of policy staying. I think it was over a 5-year period, right? It was a longer period. It wasn't like 34% of the business falling off. But over 5 years, if you do two, it's up to 70%. One final question about this. Is there anything you teach about, the close or the follow-up? Like, are you a thank you card? Are you a flowers? Are you a chocolates? Are you 2-3 calls from a staff? What, anything you try to recommend or because that's where I always go, like, the first time when we started selling virtually and this girl goes, I just issued 50,000 last month. I was like, that's incredible. What's your follow-up process? She goes, nothing. I just sent him a text message, say, hey, Mary, I'm your broker. And give me a call if you have any questions. I'm like, you're going to have some problems. Like you got to care. You got to care, right? As much as you can, in a reasonable amount. You have to drive out there and read policy to them. But right between there and nothing, it's got to be more towards that. So what are you kind of teaching that sort of final, hey, we got brand new agents that just sold their first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 policies. What should they be doing to make sure those drastically increasing the chances of those staying on the books?
Yeah. So immediately we teach everybody to send a text message with the policy details, the benefits of the policy, the date it's coming out of the bank, and what the monthly premium is, who you have down as the beneficiary. And if anything happens, make sure that they get in contact with you if they have any questions. So immediately follow the sale, a text like that goes out. And I know a lot of people use Lead Chat Pro. A lot of my guys use that. They do that from inside the system. They do this whole thing. And then the other thing is the follow-up texts and thank you cards by mail. A lot of guys do that. We talk about that a lot. Thank you cards by mail. And then the birthday and anniversary texts of the policy, all that stuff really helps. They just need to know that you're a real person and that you didn't just, take their $47 and go to Mexico, or wherever people have these ideas of, it's kind of funny. You get on final expense calls and people are, I don't want to give you my bank account info. You have $17 in there, Dolores. Like, what am I going to do? I just spent 45 minutes to get your $112. Like, there's much better ways for people to, they could just go on the dark web or there's other ways to do it. I'm pretty sure, I think. So anyway.
Well, awesome, Trace.